Good.
I watched the play. I said, those homes around there probably start at 5 million mark and go up.
Ridiculous.
Maybe virtually.
Bob, you're like two places at once. We're getting our money's worth out of you. Oh, Jill's on too. Yep.
Ready? Carol, go ahead.
Go ahead and call to order.
Call to order. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well and staying dry for a few days. I'd like to call to order for the meeting for today. And in just a minute, I'd like to do a roll call. Here, can you do that?
Absolutely. We're looking for Commissioner Brunke, Susan Brunke.
Here.
Commissioner Joan Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Pat Dolan.
Here.
Commissioner Jill Ewell. Commissioner Sharon Felton. Commissioner Mike Fentress.
Here.
Commissioner Kema Giroux.
Here.
Commissioner Joseph Monaco. Commissioner Payne Garland.
President accounted for.
Wonderful. Commissioner Akeem Proser. Commissioner Hugh Tierney.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson Tower.
Here.
And new Commissioner Mika Twyman.
Here.
Thank you.
I don't know if you heard, but Jill is here. I don't know if you heard, but she's on the screen.
I did not. Thank you.
And to let everybody know, Joe emailed me the other day, he had open heart surgery. I passed. He seems to be recovering. Joe.
And I do have that Akeem Proser is an excused absence. I missed it on the roll call.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Can we do a sound check real quick for the people attending online? Are you able to hear us efficiently? Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, at this time, has everyone had a chance to read the minutes for May 6th meeting?
I'm clear.
If we have, do I have a motion to approve?
Also moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion's passed.
Aye.
To approve the minutes of the May 6th meeting. Do we have any agenda additions? Any correspondence or public comment? Okay, at this time, I'd like to go back to the old business and talk about youth football and then the BTAC update. Michael.
Great, thank you. So regarding the youth tackle football, as you all know, we brought this agenda item to you, I believe, back in February. The commission endorsed the staff recommendation to divest ourselves of we then, sports management staff met with the youth football representatives. And as you can imagine, there was mixed feelings about that, and a few folks that were understandably upset that we would not be sponsoring youth football. As we talked about, and as we told the leagues, we still have the fields. They can always still utilize the fields. They can form their own league. They also have about 3 other service providers of youth tackle football that they can go to and still register for. So we went over all that with them. Let me just tell you what's kind of happening at this point. In terms to, soften the blow on the youth that played with us in 2019, there was no youth football last fall, so going back 2 years. For those youth who want to and plan to return this fall to youth tackle football. It is our intention at this time to provide to them a stipend to help cover the cost of what could be an increased fee going to one of the private providers. We do have in our budget the money we would have spent on youth tackle football, and so for this year and this year only, we'll kind of we won't provide it, but we will ease the blow on their fees to go to another service provider. All that's being worked out as we speak, and then of course from this point forward, we'll no longer be a provider or organizer of youth tackle football, but of course our field will still be utilized by anybody that wants to. So that's kind of where it stands right now. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I don't know if any of the commissioners yourselves heard from anybody over the past month.
That won't be a blanket entitlement, that'll be.
That is for this fall only.
Request, per individual request, money will be allocated, or is it be a lump sum allocated?
Good, great question. So how it's going to work out is just be the most efficient way about this. We will work with the other 3 providers of youth tackle football.
Right.
They will know this is what we're planning. When people sign up for them, that plays up in 2019, they will charge less for them. Then at the end of registration, they'll say, okay, we have, as an example, 10 of your kids that played in 2019 signed up for us. They'll send us those names. We'll cross-reference them on our rosters. We'll say, yes, that's accurate. And we will pay directly to that organization. But we'll tell the families, when you go sign up with us in 2019, we're going to subsidize it by X amount. And so it'll be, pretty much 3 checks. 1 check to each organization, depending on how many kids they get that used to play with us. And the people will pay less on registration. So there's no out-of-pocket money on their part, and there's not a refund per se.
So there won't be a problem of favoritism or any aspect like that that might crop up.
I hope not. Anybody who plays with us in 2019, who's still eligible in that age group, that's playing this year and goes to another youth tackle football, will provide the subsidy and will pay the organizer that they're going to cover their expenses.
And Michael, in years past, where there were so many different teams, different in Hempstead, Larkspur, all of them had, now there's only, maybe 4 teams?
I think in 2019, we were down to 5 teams.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them
Right.
still active or can still play.
Right.
But we identified, I have to check my email. Jane went through the rosters from 2019, took out the kids that have aged out. And I think we had, Shirley, do you remember how many potential? 195 potential youth. That seems high, but it might be that could play this year. That played in 20, but we won't get into that. Would be the maximum.
Such a small.
And I think it is a very small number, but I think this is a very good plan moving forward. I think it, again, helps transition us out of the youth tackle football and helps smooth their transition into another service provider.
Plus, we can continue to say it's a phase-out process instead of a
That's correct.
drop-off.
It's a phase-out, and then, of course, we have our alternative leagues that we will still run. That's the 7-on-7 passing league, and that's the flag football league, which are doing very well in terms of registrations and participation.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Question. The registration for the others, like the flag, how do they compare to the registration for the flag on kids?
In terms of the leagues we ran,
Yeah.
so flag and 7-on-7 passing is just going up, and tackle football over the previous years was declining rapidly.
And how much did it cost for somebody to register?
Can you repeat the question when you answer it, Michael, because the mic's not picking it up for the people online.
So the question was, what's the cost of our youth, what was the cost of our youth tackle registration versus the cost of our 7-on-7 and the cost of our flag? So the cost of the youth tackle football that we used to run was not by player, it was by team. The teams organized And then we charge the team a flat fee of around, I think, $200. Shirley, would you?
Was that 100 or 200?
It was per team. $250. Now, what the associations that organize the teams charge the players varied depending on where they are in the city and what group they're with. Does that make sense? Our current fees per child for 7-on-7 passing or flag, I'd have to get that to you. That's different though. They can sign up individually. Right. But just so you know, I just found that our flag football has grown 300% in 2 seasons. Our 7-on-7 has grown 122% in 2 years in terms of numbers going up, whereas our flag football, our tackle football was declining pretty quickly. And I'll get you the costs on the flag football and passing. Another really interesting aspect of our 7-on-7 passing leagues and our flag football leagues is that it is far more inclusive. So we have far more females participating than just boys.
Wow.
Any other questions? Thank you, Michael. Okay, Chad, for the BTAC update.
In lieu of a actual presentation, I think you have some items in your packet that include some information about the Bikeways and Trails overview. We didn't want to give you another presentation. We were here in February to talk about active transportation and bikeways and trails, and that was about the time that the active transportation plan was adopted as an amendment to the comprehensive plan. So that was already taken care of. And then November 2020, I was here and presented our capital budget and a lot of the projects that we had in the queue. So with that, we'll keep this short. And if you just want to take a look at that sometime, if you have any questions about some of our projects that we have related to bikeways and trails, happy to answer any of those questions or provide more information on any of those projects, as well as any other projects that we have going on in planning, design, and development.
Anybody have any questions? Do anybody have any questions for Chad? Now, for new business, we have the executive order 79, which goes from effective May 28, and we have tax writing, all of that.
Well, let me just add to that. And it's my understanding that all commissions and councils are going to go back to live meetings after July 1st. So as an FYI, there'll be a slight revision from the city on excused absences for people who do want to, remote in a couple times a year. There'll be a number you can do that. But for the most part, the city plans to go back to live in-person council and commission meetings on July 1st. It's also our impression and our understanding that the governor will be rescinding the statewide emergency order at the end of June. That will pretty much mean, at least at a policy statewide level, the pandemic is over. Now, of course, we still have COVID with us, but in terms of there being a state of emergency, that will go away. Along with it, any and all guidelines, restrictions associated with the pandemic. So it's kind of interesting because when the pandemic first hit, man, things changed quickly in those first couple months. New rules, new regulations, all these new orders, and things just changed very quickly. And from my perspective, we're seeing that now as we come out of the pandemic and as vaccination rates go up, we're quickly loosening, changing, revising executive orders, and kind of making things happen pretty quick. So we're all adapting to the new reality and what's coming. Our recreation centers, as you know, starting last week, no longer required registrations. They're all drop-in use. Capacity limits have been lifted. We're pretty much at this point operating at pre-COVID levels in terms of restrictions or guidelines. We still have our cleaning protocols that we're doing, and we still have some of those behind-the-scenes issues. People do not need to wear masks walking into our rec centers. Per the governor's orders, if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask, and you're asked, and you're told that you should wear a mask if you're unvaccinated. But again, that's on the honor system, and nobody's checking. So for the most part, there's no mask mandate. Capacity limits are lifted, and we're quickly coming out of where we were during the pandemic. So lots of changes happening, and lots of changes happening quickly. We also plan to reopen this building this month. I actually have meetings with staff tomorrow. So a lot of them don't even know, what's coming, but they're eagerly awaiting. So I don't want to spill the beans before the staff hear it. But it is certainly the desire and intention of the city to reopen any buildings and get back to pre-COVID levels, any services that have been restricted or kind of held back on sometime this month. So that is certainly our intention. This is the only building in Park and Recreation that has remained closed to the public during the pandemic, and with really a skeleton crew working here, most people working teleworking. But all of our other staff, 90% of Park and Recreation staff have never stopped. Parks and Landscape, our parks have never closed. Parks and Landscape Services have been at work every day from day one. Our recreation centers have been open since last July, of course, operating under modified conditions, but all those staff reporting to work 5 days a week. Child care has been going strong. Everything is back. This is the last part of the department that needs formally reopened, and that will happen this month.
We haven't had any employees staying home, taking the government stipend, stay out of work. We haven't had any kind of issue with that throughout our staff.
Well, we are having significant hiring challenges. We haven't had any full-time quit to take unemployment, not that I know of. But Teresa is here, and that's a great lead-in to her presentation, because when I say we're pretty much back to pre-COVID levels of operation, the only thing holding us back right now is our vacancy rates and the hiring of staff. We cannot find qualified, we are not getting people applying for a lot of our areas of operation, specifically in our part-time positions, of which that's 2/3 of our workforce, and our entry-level positions. And so Teresa has a full presentation on that momentarily.
Teresa, we'll turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Teresa Cummings. I am the Administrative Services Coordinator here at Parks and Recreation, and that is a fancy way to say that I run the HR team for Parks and Rec. And as Michael just explained, usually I pick them up pretty good. As Michael just explained, well, when the slide comes up, we're on slide 2. Our staffing levels are nowhere near where they usually are this time of year in previous years. So what you're looking at in your packets, if you flip just past the opening cover, you're going to see the number of employees that we hired between March and June of 2018, 2019, and what we currently have hired here in 2021. Obviously, data for 2020 wasn't real relevant, so we just went ahead and left that off there. But you can see that there's about 150 fewer employees than we usually have this time of year in our part-time programs, or part-time employees for our programs. And what that means is that we are scrambling. So thank you.
Hopefully it works. It's not going to, because I'm projecting it. Okay. I'll just click for you.
Okay. Good. Oh, I can do that. Okay. So this isn't something that is exclusive to Parks and Recreation, obviously. This is a nationwide issue, I would assume. I can only guess at why it's happening, but, the unemployment checks that are being cut, or the unemployment funds that are available, and some people are just scared to come to work. There's a number of reasons why people aren't coming, but we are here to ask you to help us to get them to come and work for us.
I read in a national publication just yesterday, either the Washington Post or New York Times, about the shortage of lifeguards across the country. And I know of park and recreation systems and like water parks that are not reopening at full capacity because they can't find lifeguards. So some rides are not even going to open during the summer, but they want to. They didn't. And a lot of this goes back to, it might not all just be unemployment benefits. You know, people train their lifeguards and start getting people back in February. In February, we didn't know when we were coming out. So if you're not doing that preparation like in February, March, you're not ready to go in April and May with your lifeguards. So just one example of how this has impacted park recreation departments and people who need part-time staff nationwide.
It's a huge issue. And for us, it's resulting in an impact on services, which is what I don't like. Some of these positions that Teresa's going to go over, we always have a hard time hiring, even when times are good, but we always manage to just get by, right? This time we're not finding enough people, and that means lower services to the public.
Yeah, and so what you're looking at now is the full-time vacancies. I'm not going to run through every single word of them. You'll have them in front of you. And then the part-time vacancies. Full-time vacancies as of a week ago Thursday, we had 77 full-time vacancies in our department. The bulk of them are coming from the groundskeeper 1s and 2s. When I first started, which was 2.5 years ago, we had about 15 GK1 vacancies, and I think we're at about 35 right now. And that makes it extremely, extremely hard to keep the city beautified with keeping the grass cut at the right level and making sure the trees are trimmed back. So as Michael said, you know, services are going to start to be impacted, which we're never going to let happen. It's just going to mean that we're going to have a lot of burnout with the current employees that we have. With full-time vacancies, we have them in the rec centers, we have the administrative positions, we have them in park and landscape. So if you know of anybody that is looking for a full-time job, Parks and Rec jobs is where you're going to send them.
The best department in the city and the best profession in the world, to come to work for us.
And then you can go to the next one for me. Thanks. So we've got about 150 part-time vacancies right now. We got kind of lucky this year with lifeguards because we did shut down one of our pools, so we were able to kind of move and shift some employees around to other sites, so we're not as desperate for lifeguards as we are in some years. But as Michael mentioned, the child care position, so activity center aides, activity center assistant leaders, and activity center leaders, we're in dire straits for. So we're looking for people that have some, not a ton, of child care experience. You know, if they've been volunteering or if they've babysat their whole lives, and you guys know who they are, again, send them to us. The other thing, yep, if you'll get back 2 slides. 1, 2, thanks. So these are the efforts that we're using right now to recruit for our talent. We've gone a new avenue that we've never gone with our job advertisements before. We've partnered with our marketing team that's in-house with Parks and Recreation, and they've helped us to come up with the yellow and orange advertising campaign that you see.
All on the way in, we came today?
Yeah.
From the building?
At Trashmore, like we have the yard signs, so they're kind of sort of everywhere. They're very attention-getting because of the bright colors. So what you can't see here is this is the $500 bonus fund that's currently like a banner ad on our careers page as well as on Facebook. Marketing's doing a lot of campaigns. If you have seen Julie Braley on the Hampton Road Show, she's done it a couple of times, I think. Mike Lee was also on the Hampton Road Show or one of the news channels, but just really promoting everything that we are now opening back up to do and the staff that we need to do it with. We did our first virtual job fair by necessity. We started our bbgov.com/parksrecjobs. So usually when you apply for a city job, you have to go through the city website, which means you have to click like 500 different times to find what you want, and it takes too long and everybody quits. We get it. So what we've done is consolidated our jobs into a one-stop shop location where you can go, oh, I want to be an activity center leader. Boop. And it takes you directly into the application for that. It's still on the city's website, but you don't have to click through to find it yourself. We had a pop-up job fair at Mount Trashmore which I was at, and it was actually a lot of fun. Just 2 hours. It was a beautiful, beautiful Thursday. And we saw about 40 people that came through. We gave out the website, gave away some tchotchkes, but just really got to connect with people who are looking for jobs. They brought us their resumes, which we obviously have to funnel back through the system, but they now know about this website, and so we're promoting it very, very highly. At that job there, we introduced interest cards, trying to build a pipeline of talent. At previous companies, I've worked with talent management system, not talent management system. I can't think of what it's called now. But anyway, where you would say, I'm interested in administrative jobs for this company. And then as those jobs open up, you actually receive an email that says, hey, we now posted an administrative assistant job, come and apply for it. So this is a very, very baseline attempt to do something like that. So the people that were at Trackmore, they filled out an interest card, they gave us their name, their email address, their phone number, and then the types of jobs that they're interested in. And then my recruiting team is going to attempt really hard to, as we post those jobs, to let these people know, so it's driving them back to the website to apply. Central HR, this campaign, the blue campaign that you see in the middle is one of the superhero campaign ads that Central HR has launched for, they're doing it for a lot of jobs throughout the city. I think it was about 2 months ago, they came and took pictures of a bunch of our staff, and then they tried to do like the heavy hitting ones that we really need a lot of staff for. But I think you'll notice the yellow and orange, much more eye-catching than the blue. It's just it's getting to your eye, and it's really driving you to the words and what we want you to do, which is apply now. The $500 bonus, which is, you know, really, really unique to the city and the city atmosphere, and so that's how desperate we are for part-time employees in childcare positions. So if you know of anyone and you send them to the website and they're hired and they start working by June 30th, they'll receive the first $100 of that $500 payment. And then if they are still working in the program, which we hope they are, August 27th, at the end of the program, they'll receive the remaining $400. So we're enticing people to come and then hopefully stay through the entire summer. And then my recruiting team has done college outreach, as well as some other recruiting events in the area. There's going to be, on the 12th, there's going to be something over at the farmers market. So we've got a table that's going to be set up there. So we're just trying to get out into the community for as much outreach as we can. And then the last one, thanks. So how can you help? That's what you guys all want to know, right? Okay, good. So you can drive people to our website, which is bbgov.com/parksrecjobs. And then this is also our in-house recruiting team. It would come to one of my recruiters, hire bbpr@bbgov.com. Just get the word out there to any organizations that you guys are with, or any, you know, personal people that you know that need a job. We're hiring for everything, and we'd love to have them.
That's great. Thank you, Teresa. So just as Park Rec commissioners, as Teresa said, you know, we're in the jam here. We have really never been in this situation, and we're not alone.
The hotels at the oceanfront, the restaurants can't find cooks. I mean, we're all in this together, right? Private sector, government together. But how it's affecting us is, like Teresa mentioned, we got lucky this year because the Princess Anne Pool is closed down for the entire summer. This is just by chance. I mean, this project's been in the work, just so happens to be closed down for a lighting project all summer. And so those lifeguards can go work at the other pools. But as our aquatics coordinator told us, if that project wasn't going on and that pool was open, we would not have enough lifeguards to operate all 7 pools over the summer, which that would have meant decreasing hours of operation, closing a pool down a day, because we just don't have enough. Now, hopefully by the end of the summer, we can get that back up. Another example of how this is directly impacting services, typical year for summer childcare, a parent would register their child in March, early March, for the summer. So you need to know where your child's going to be all summer long, with all the summer camps that we offer in the schools, and we can watch your child all summer long. Then registration opens, people pay and get their child registered and say, great, my kid's good for the summer. Then in a typical year, we are recruiting and hiring those summer staff throughout March and April and May. And then they do their training in early June, and we're usually good to go. Well, registration opens, We offered up these spots, even less than usual, and we still don't have enough staff to cover the spots that people paid for. Does that make sense? We have actually had to go out there now, close down a couple sites and notify parents, we know that you registered your child for this site, but we can no longer offer that site because we're just not sure if we're gonna have enough staff. And we can't wait and not tell parents and wait till June and say we don't staff. We gotta give them enough time. Now, we have told those parents, we gave them other options at other sites to go to, but we don't have enough child care staff to even operate the sites that we planned for this summer. I mean, we are down, we still need 30 more?
30, yeah.
30 more part-time child care staff for this summer. And we're just not getting that many people coming in the door each week, even with all these marketing and recruitment efforts. So that's just an example of how this is directly impacting the public. You know, it's not just behind the scenes with us running around, working extra hard. It's directly impacting services to the public. We hope we can get, through the summer and slowly get out of this by next fall and winter, like the rest of the private sector as well. But it is a major, major challenge right now to get these positions filled and get people in the door, qualified people.
I had a friend of mine that had 17 people apply, set up appointments for them to come in, and nobody showed up.
Oh, my goodness. Talk about the heart.
I mean, we're having 1 and 2 come in, and jobs that usually have 30 candidates, we have 3. So even when we do have the applicants, things are extremely slim, and some don't qualify, some don't pass background checks. So it's really tough right now.
Yep. But, kudos to Teresa, kudos to the marketing team. I mean, they have stepped up their game incredibly this year to do all they can. I mean, it's not for a lack of trying and getting the word out and doing all we can to beat the bushes for applicants. It's just, the applicant pool is just not there this year for a number of reasons.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Teresa.
Thanks, Teresa.
Michael, you want the numbers?
I just saw the text. Yeah, if you could share it, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Well, can you hold on for me 1 second? That way they can hear you too.
Okay, so it's 165 eligible participants for the football that we might do the stipend for, so it's not 195, it's 165. The passing league is $65 per child with a $10 registration fee, and the flag fee is $50 with a registration fee of $10. And associations can charge anywhere from $75 to $125, so it's not $250, but somewhere between, almost double in some cases. I think that was it. Those are the numbers you were looking for? Yeah. Okay, sure.
Any other questions?
And we can't put all these illegals coming across the border to work, fill some of these positions. Sorry, another can of worms.
Now for the liaison reports, MYLA. Do we have anybody here for that today?
Hi, I'm Tristan Gambido.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm MYLA secretary, and right now, we're just ending off our term. We had officer elections. We're holding them right now over Google Forms, and we just finished with our SPCA dog toys. We created them during one of our meetings, and then one of the members dropped them off at SPCA.
Very nice. How are y'all doing with members for your MYLA right now?
We got a whole bunch of new members, so that's really fun.
Very good. Anything else? Anybody have any questions? Thank you very much. Anybody from schools? Mr. Freeman? Captain Harris with the police? Councilwoman Wooten, how are you doing? Have anything for us?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm doing good, thank you. Just really briefly, I don't have a report per se, but I do know that many of you may have heard about the changes to our local election system. And so just wanted to make sure you knew that in the month of June, the city will be providing briefings on the information that we have as it relates to mapping and changing districts and what can be expected in the future. So if you would like your organization, your church, your local body or community body to have a briefing or presentation, certainly you can reach out to myself or you can reach out to our city clerk because they are scheduling times for public, I would say for community meetings. We also will have public meetings at City Council in June as well, so that the public can come out and speak and provide feedback for the changes with regard to our local election system. So just wanted to make sure people are aware of the public hearings that are coming up and that you can also request a briefing for your community, your board, your organization, your committee, your church. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Nick Anoya called on the way over. He couldn't be here today, but a little bit on the foundation. We really haven't had a chance to do a lot with COVID. Going to have a meeting with Rick next week to go over and see what the rest of the summer allows us to do. We are going to do an online auction in July with Parks and Rec Month. So we'll be getting all that information out here in a couple weeks. That'll be on Facebook, and hopefully we'll be able to raise some money through that auction. And that's everything we have there. Now for the subcommittee reports. Yes, sir.
Golf tournament on the.
Thank you. We do have a golf tournament scheduled for September the 17th. That's going to be at Redway. Thank you, Carl. Okay, subcommittee reports, Open Space Advisory Committee. Jill, did y'all meet?
No, they did not have a meeting. So I don't have anything.
All right. Nothing there, Michael? Nothing new? Okay, Bikeways and Trails Advisory Committee, Hugh? Muted.
You're muted, Hugh.
You're muted.
You're still muted.
I just requested you to unmute. Did it pop up on your screen? There we go. Now you can. Are you there? We still can't hear you, Hugh.
Can't hear you, Hugh. Good report.
We can see you though, Hugh.
We can lip read.
All right. All right.
Hold on, let me try one more thing, Hugh. I'm going to unmute everybody to see if that works.
Interesting. Yeah, I should be able to.
Weird.
Is anyone out there able to talk? You wanna...
Sharon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, so it's working for you and other folks, just not Hugh.
Hugh, nah, for Hugh.
Hugh, do you want to call in? If you want to try to call in. want to move on, and
Yeah.
then call in, and then
Let's go with the director's report. Michael?
Sure. So just a couple quick things I wanted to update the commission on. I already talked about the administration building will be reopening soon. Another thing I wanted to mention is, as you're probably aware, but perhaps some of you are unaware, every 2 years, the department goes out with a random household survey and really gets a really good snapshot on the public's desires and feelings and recreational needs. So we do this random household survey, and we use that in a lot of our data analysis and decision-making moving forward. The last time we did our Park and Recreation random household survey was in 2019. It is time to do so again. That consultant company is on board. That survey will be going out to the public, I think, next month, correct, Chad?
Yeah,
in the next 3 to 4 weeks, it will go out, and we should have results, preliminary results, probably by the end of July. That's great, and also this will be a major component of the Parks Needs Assessment and Master Plan that is currently getting underway as well. So as you're all aware, we did a very thorough analysis and vision for the recreation centers moving forward, for the 4 older recreation centers and a potential 8th Centerville Recreation Center. So we have that vision for the rec centers. We know what's needed, we know the cost associated with it, and we have a vision of where we could go over time. We're going to do the same thing with the park system, so the outdoor parks. We know that we have an extensive deferred maintenance backlog in terms of existing amenities that need repair and replaced. We know that we have at least 40 undeveloped park properties where people have been waiting for decades for their amenities to go in. We know that recreational trends change over time. And so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get a vision together of where our park system can and should be over the next 10 years. And what's going to be unique about this is we're going to look at a parks needs assessment through an equity lens. So equity will be a factor we look at in terms of how to prioritize and what to prioritize moving forward in the future. So what parts of the communities have been underfunded or not funded at all, and use that as a lens with different ethnic groups, different populations. Really look at equity, not just, hey, put 4 ball fields here and 4 over here and 4 over here. So that consultant's on board. The random household survey results will be a component and will be a major data driver for that study, and that will happen over the summer as well. So we're very excited to have that underway. As you all know, the Woodstock Park opening. Woodstock Park has been closed for 2 years. We have a major unveiling to do on June 16th. June 16th, the park opens. Whether it's ready or not, it's opening. So Chad and I toured the site just a few weeks ago. It looks absolutely amazing. Wait until you see this new skate park. I'm not a skateboarder myself, but it almost makes me want to go be one. And I'm definitely going to go out there and just watch the skateboarders. So a really unique project, as you know, partnership with HRSD. They needed to build a 5.2 million gallon offline storage tank facility, wastewater storage tank facility. We put that in the park, but they built the skate park on top of and around that facility. We added another $2 million to the project, and we have redone the picnic shelters, the bathrooms, the playground, the parking lot. Everything's going to get redone, and it's going to have a whole new look to it. This skate park is so impressive. Our consultant, Team Payne, and they're, the experts in this. They build skate parks up and down the East Coast.
It's going to be stored in that.
It'll be empty a lot of the time, but when they need to use it, it'll be wastewater. Wastewater.
Groundwater.
Yep, that gets stored in there. Team Payne has told Chad that they truly believe that this is the nicest, coolest skate park they have built on the East Coast. We are going to have people coming from all around the skate park to skate at the skate park at Woodstock Park. So really cool. And again, the dog park will be back open. The tennis courts, we'll do pickleball courts there as well. We got a brand new playground, new shelters. It just looks amazing. I hope you can make it to the grand opening. But if you can't, be sure to get out there sometime this summer and check out the new park. This will be our biggest park project. Chad, since you've been here?
Yeah, biggest park project.
Biggest park project since Chad, and Chad's been here in the last 7 years. So it's pretty exciting. So that's coming. I also wanted to mention that it looks like at this point we are likely going to be going for a federal RAISE grant. RAISE grants were the previous build grants, and prior to that they were the Tiger grants. These are transportation grants through the Department of Transportation, federal funding. There looks to be pretty good, strong support by our elected officials. We are going to be presenting to them on Tuesday. It is likely they will pass a resolution next week at their formal meeting, authorizing us and the city to go for the federal grant and city match. So, of course, there's no guarantees you're going to get it. We applied for this same grant 2 years ago. We did not get it. Nobody in Virginia got a grant that year. But very exciting. It's going to be a tight deadline, but we'll get once we have a green light from City Council and the City Manager, we'll have the consultant on board, and we will be applying for a build grant for one segment of the VB Trail. And as you know, the VB Trail is the 12-mile corridor from Norfolk to the oceanfront, which is the Norfolk Southern right-of-way that the city owns. So we will be going for a grant for that, most likely starting next week. Fingers crossed. Just two more things I wanted to bring up. One was, as you know, there is another round of funding coming to the city regarding the American Recovery Funds. Prior to this, it was the CARES funding. Now it's called the Recovery Funds. There are various things that those monies are eligible to be used on. This department will be submitting to the city manager's office our thoughts and ideas for where we think it could go, and then those will get, of course, prioritized by City Council. But you know, who knows? Maybe we'll get some additional funds to fix up the parks and do some things like that. And certainly, I know that Councilwoman Wooten is on the line, and she has been an incredibly strong advocate for the Centerville Rec Center to get done sooner rather than later. So we'll see, and once we know if the department's going to receive any of those funds, I'll of course let the commission know. The very final thing I have for everybody is I hope you've all heard that for the first time ever, Virginia Beach Parks and Recreation is a finalist for the Gold Medal Award. So the Gold Medal is really the highest honor a park and recreation system can receive through the National Association. It's really considered the Oscars of our profession. Once you win a gold medal, you can't even reapply for 5 years. To be a finalist is in and of itself an incredibly noteworthy accomplishment. We were notified, there's always 4 finalists. We're in the top category, categories being on population size. So population is 400,000 and above is category 1. So we compete with any other city that is 400,000 people or more. Just so happens we have 450,000, and we're competing with, you know, the Chicago, Atlantas, the LAs, the New Yorks of the world. The 4 finalists this year have been notified. We are one of them, and we're up against 3 incredible departments. We are up against Minneapolis Parks and Recreation. Minneapolis is typically ranked the #1 urban park system in the country by the Trust of Public Lands. We are up against Cleveland Metro Parks, extremely well known, and we're up against the Chicago Park District, you know, serving almost 3 million people with a $170 million operating budget and you know, all those lakefront parks and everything. Yeah. All 3 of the departments we're up against are previous gold medal winners. So as one person put it very aptly, we are definitely punching above our weight class, which is going to make the win all the more better when we take home the gold. We will find out at the national conference. It's a big ceremony where they announce the winner. We will find out at the national conference this fall if we won it or not. Once you're a finalist, all finalist departments must then submit a 5-minute video, which is very tough to do, to squeeze in for 5 minutes all the great things you do. That was due to be submitted on June 1st. We submitted it, and so what I'd like to do, if you haven't seen it, I'd like you all to see this amazing video that our marketing team at Park and Recreation and the City Communications Office put together on very short notice and that we submitted for further judging. Here we go.
Hopefully you want to see this.
$153,000 people that live here. And we've got 453,000 people that live here. And part of the reason, people love living here, it is a safe city. We got great schools. We have a great lifestyle. And Parks and Rec, our Parks and Rec are a point of pride in our city.
Without a doubt, one of the best ways we impact the lives of our residents is through health and wellness. We have 7 large recreation centers such as this one, with 40% of our public being members.
I weighed over 300 pounds. I started really paying attention to my body, what I needed to do to get myself right. So I started working out. I started going to the gym, working out, going to the rec center. When I went to Williams Farm, that's where I met Miss Brittany Waltz. She introduced me to the pool. These gyms are unbelievable. Every gym that they have has something different to offer you. Not one of these rec centers is the same. The city is providing a service that is incredible. Hopefully with myself and seeing myself like this, hopefully I get more veterans to come in here. More veterans in wheelchairs. Come on in. It takes time, but they will help you. And I'm a proof of that.
When it comes to the environment, it's one of our strengths. For instance, we have preserved some incredible pieces of property here in Virginia Beach. One of those being Stumpy Lake. That was 1,000 acres going to be development, and it's just a gorgeous, pristine area, both to golf, bird watch, kayak, and canoe. Another great example is the preservation of Pleasure House Point, and that overlooks the Lynnhaven Bay, which has become a treasure for our residents to hike and enjoy the scenery, as well as protect some endangered species.
Parks and Recreation has a major commitment to folks being able to enjoy the outdoors. We think about our waterways and beaches. A lot of the programs and design plans that we put in place actually create access. So kayak launches, other amenities that we put in place, it's part of our strategic plan and actually our operational plans when we design facilities and amenities to be able to include that so people can get to it and actually experience.
I can literally live in water. I'm built for water.
The Students in the Swim program was initiated because we live around wide bodies of water. We reached out to our elementary students, and they're from our Title I schools, and we teach them how to swim. That is one of the most important initiatives that we have for me as a mother, as a school board member, and as a commissioner, making sure our children learn how to swim.
Confidence level has completely done a 180. He was always apprehensive about not holding onto the wall or holding onto somebody, and now he is jumping off the edge and swimming out by himself and floating and just doing everything that you should be able to do in the water.
Plus, my legs are especially very, very powerful, so it helps me propel. I do have a tiny, tiny six-pack.
We have a terrific partnership with Parks and Rec, not just for the students on the swim program, but for so many programs, after-school programs, before-school programs, and of course all the youth activities that our kids participate in. So we're thrilled with the ongoing partnership with Parks and Rec, and we look forward to seeing that continue to grow.
We're putting on an essential personnel camp here to service those that are still working that need child care. And we've done a lot of modifications from what our usual camp would be. So it's been a lot of challenges, you know, trying to make sure it's fun, but also very safe. That's our #1 priority.
With all of this chaos, with all of this uncertainty, I really just wanted them to be in one place where they could have some stability, and this answered our prayers.
Our residents really desire Parks and Recreation services. We've had bond referendums. We have dedicated revenues from the city of Virginia Beach to Parks and Recreation, and they're continuous. And those are the elements that really kind of help us keep the system thriving and also being able to expand.
A lot of things make Virginia Beach a great place to live, but especially our lifestyle. Think about it. We have an ocean, we have a bay, we have bodies of water, we have natural trails. It promotes health.
So, yeah, thank you. Great video. So, a really good video. I want to thank, of course, Mayor Dyer, Sharon Felton, Ken Chandler, who all came out on short notice to get some video done. And the marketing team and communications office did a great job. I actually looked at Chicago's 5-minute video and the Minneapolis video. Those have been posted on YouTube as well. I haven't found Cleveland's yet, but I think ours is better. So really excited. I know staff are excited, but really just to be a finalist, to be a gold medal winning agency, that does not happen overnight. You just can't wake up one day and say, hey, let's apply for the gold. You need to have a history, a legacy of excellence, you know, that goes back to phenomenal elected official support, phenomenal public support, and a really good management and operation of the system. You know, this award's not about me. It's not about any single person in this department. It's about all the employees that have worked here and worked here for the years, as well as our elected officials and the public that has supported us. And so I'm really excited to hopefully win. Of course, we are an accredited department already, a CAPRA accredited department. And to be both accredited and a gold medal winner is a lot. I think there's only about a dozen or dozen and a half agencies nationwide that are both CAPRA accredited and a gold medal winning agency. So I'm hoping that can happen here. But more to come, but the video itself is on the city's and the department's social media channels. Feel free to share it and pass it along. It's also a great marketing tool. It's just a great 5-minute overview of the department. And I really love the personal stories we wove in to the video.
See it on the swim. That's always a good one.
It was great.
Yeah.
That was great. And that's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Michael.
I just have a tiny six-pack.
The national conference is September, hold on one second. The national conference is September 20th to the 22nd. This year it's in Nashville, Tennessee. And I believe the evening of the 21st
is what's called the Best of the Best ceremony, where they unveil the winners. So I will be texting, tweeting, and calling back, letting people know if we won or not.
The other three were Minnesota, Chicago.
And Cleveland Metro Parks. Cleveland Metro Parks is only a nature-based, it's a park district. So in Ohio, park districts are set up as a separate government entity. I work for a park district in Illinois, where it's permitted under state law. So they're not a city department or a county department. They're their own government department with their own dedicated funding. Cleveland Metro Parks, it's nature preserves, forest preserves, nature centers, golf courses, very self-directed nature-based activities. And Cleveland Metro Parks is very well known. They won the gold medal 5 years ago. This is their first year to reapply, and they did. They won 5 years ago. Chicago Park District won, and Minneapolis has all won as well. So they're very, it's our turn. I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. They look at every year at who applies and who's the best. So for instance, in my previous department, we won the gold medal in 2012. That was our third time being a finalist. So you can be a finalist and not win. You go back the next year, but your competition changes. We were a finalist 3 years in a row. We finally won in 2012, and we were up against the Maryland Capital Park and Planning, which is a multi-county, very well-known. They're a 6-time gold medal winning department, and we beat them that year. And so they went back the next year, and I think and got, at that time they were 5-time gold medal winners. But we beat them even though they're very well acclaimed. So it all depends on your application, your materials, your video, and what you submit. Now, personally, I think we're already a gold medal agency. I mean, without a doubt. We are as strong, if not stronger, than the departments we're up against. But we'll see what the judges think.
I'm sorry, just to take a step back, we got a note in the chat asking if they're going to be invited to the grand opening for the park. I believe it was referring to Woodstock.
The Woodstock Park grand opening?
Before it sent out, we got a second reminder today that was submitted. So if you did not receive that, it's June 16th at 10 a.m.
So hopefully everybody heard that. But Chad said you should have already received an invitation to it. If you have not, let us know. Just shoot me an email or Beth an email, and we will get that email back out to you. There's also a reminder I saw on the marketing team that went out today, where I think they're making people register online. RSVP. It's an RSVP. Again, we planned this months ago, not knowing what kind of crowd we were going to be allowed to have during COVID. But we will make sure we get that link back out to the group.
10 a.m.
That's fantastic.
That's a Wednesday.
Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions? Just a reminder that we do skip meeting in July, so the next meeting will be on August 5th.
So we'll have open doors policy. That's about it.
All right, does anybody have anything they'd like to add to the meeting? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second? We have a second. All in favor, aye? Any nays? All righty. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
That's a great video.
Oh, they did a great job with that, didn't they?
Oh,
That was just
God.
amazing.
Yeah, that video was good.